Hello beautiful souls, this is Vrida Kumar, also known as Twinflameunion, bringing you guys in this week's pep talk and empowerment series, signs and things and what this means in your spiritual journey. For those that are not twin flames or are not living this path, you can still continue watching this video if you're drawn to it. I constantly think, and I just through my experiences now that I've talked to many people, I can tell you that the universe is always forever communicating, and some people notice it, some people don't, but I will show you or tell you a little bit on how you can figure that part out if the universe is making some sort of communication with you. They always do it, it's a matter of you and your perception whether you actually pick that up or not. So that's what I firmly believe, and for those that are awakened and they have a little bit of intuition, they start to pick that up, that the universe is forever communicating. So I'll go over that a little bit later in the video. For those that are new to this channel, please do not forget to share, like, subscribe, as well as hit the notification bell. I load up weekly videos and you never know which video actually will serve you for your learning. And if you need to book any sessions with me, you can check that information out in the description. My website is there and you can actually book directly from there. Everything is listed, so just have a look at that, as well as look at the fundraiser that I'm doing. I extended it to until September 29th midnight, so you can make donations and you have a chance to win a free long distance Reiki or a twin flame reading, or even a reading with me, and both are actually priced for about $80 US. So have a look at that as well. It's for a good cause. It's for the USA fires that's causing chaos in the North America. So, and a lot of wildlife is dying, and there's just so many things that's happening. And I try to do a little bit of fundraiser for that. You know, it's not much that is being asked. It's $11.11. That would be 2 cups of your coffee. But for those that are, you know, in that situation where they need this this rescue plan, Red Cross is there doing that, and that's who I partnered up with. And none of those proceeds actually go to me. It actually goes to the Red Cross and the rescue plan that they have in place. Before we begin further into this topic, let's hit it. And welcome back. For those that are new to this channel, I'm just gonna tell you that if you see me looking through this, I actually have all their information or my notes written here. I usually try to stay within the topics, so this is my way of making sure that I actually do. So what I want to begin with is signs and things. Now, there is no such thing as just okay, I'm gonna rewind this a little bit here. Just when you sometimes get, or if you must have heard of, even seen movies, let's just say, when you see that a psychic is doing a, a psychic reading, or even if you've gone to a psychic and they've done sort of channel reading, there is no such thing only. I won't say just that that's not true. That is true too, because some people can, if your gifts are opened well enough, you can actually hear voices as well, and like those kind of things. And I'll go over that. But there is other ways that your higher self or your guides, or in your case, if you're on a twin flame journey, your twin flame's higher self will constantly talk to you, right? They always have this kind of communication. So there's, you can say that you will only hear voices, and a lot of people mistake that when they are new to the spiritual journey. They feel that, well, I'm not listening, I'm not hearing any voice, I'm not seeing things, like a movie, like a clairvoyance, kind of images, like the psychic images that you are accustomed to, all your life. I know that I was, because that was a misconception for me as well. When I was growing up, and I thought that people that have psychic abilities, they can hear and they can see things, just the way that the movies show you. It does, because I've heard bits and pieces of things, and I've seen bits and pieces of glimpses, future glimpses as well. Like I've seen actual visions and stuff like that. But again, that comes and goes. You can't just expect that to be. You have to actually almost master that, and I don't know how to do that. I'm not at that stage in my spiritual journey for me to explain it to you a little bit better. But what I will tell you is what I can, decipher from this. But yeah, so if you are totally clairvoyant and you can actually see visual images and stuff like that, that's actually really, really good, because that means that that particular clair is open. And there's about maybe 6 or 7 of them that you can look that up in Google. I don't know them all by heart, what clairs they are, but they, it's your clairs are sense of seeing, hearing, knowing, and that's my very, very strong clair, is the clear sense of knowing. That's the one that I actually master currently. That's my strongest clair. And then I just want to say this, that for those that are new to this, check out those clairs. So there's clairs of seeing, knowing, hearing, sensing, and feeling. Some people can feel, and some people can even smell. So there's about six of them that I think, but just check that out on Google, what that is and what they represent. So yes, those are really, really huge. If you there's going to be one that's going to be more prominent than the other. So just have a look at what that means for you. Now, when people say that I'm very clairvoyant, that doesn't mean only, it's not only meant that you can only see visuals of, future visuals, or, like psychic visuals, which may very well be the case, but it's also when you are actually seeing signs and things in reality. So I want to point that out, because sometimes people are too hard on themselves. They say that, well, I'm not seeing anything, I'm not hearing anything, I'm not making out, what the spirit is communicating to me. And spirit could be your higher self, it could be your twin flames higher self, or your guides, or your ascended masters, any of these people, right? The common one that, firstly, everybody on a spiritual path begins to learn is about numbers. So the numbers, there's lots of sequences that show up, and there's repeated sequences. And when you start noticing these numbers. Like, for example, the biggest one that everybody starts to notice is the 1111, because 1111 is a wake-up call from the universe that, hey, wake up, you're on a you're on a spiritual journey. You've got a you have to wake up to your own truth, and you have to pay attention to everything that is happening around you, because this is, it's you are on a spiritual path. So a lot of people also look at that as a twin flame number as well, because for the simple reason that for twin flames, 11 is the twin flame number because it's 1 and 1, and for most people in their connection, you will always see the 11 is there somewhere. If you look at the date of birth, or you look at anything, it could be phone numbers as well. For example, my twin and I, when we add our numbers, like when I add my cell number, it comes to 11, and then when he adds his if I add his cell number, his mobile number, it's 11, so it's 1111. So somewhere like that. And I have so many things like that with the 11. We are 11, what are we here? We are 6 years and 5 months apart, so that becomes 11 when you when we add that up, right? Also, our initials, G and V, that's actually 11 as well. When you round it off, it actually comes to that as well. And so stuff like that is just it's just weird how that works. But so yeah, just have a look at it, and I don't know what they are for yourself. You have to put in your time and use your brainstorm it a little bit, and just see how that applies to you. You can put your comments, your answers in the comments as well, and how this means for you, right? So go ahead and do that. You never know, right? But yeah, so 1111 is that twin flame number that everybody gets really they notice it right off the bat, I want to say, because it's just so crazy that how it'll just start coming like this, right, in your journey. And you may see this repeatedly, more than 5-6 times, or less, or sometimes it's just crazy, like in everywhere you go you'll see it. So so that's one of them. But yeah, so the number sequences are one of the ways that the higher guides and spirits actually communicate with you. So look that up and what this means. I actually wrote a blog on twin flame numbers. They're general enough that you can actually, anybody that can that is in a spiritual path that notice numbers, you can have a look at it and just see what this means. I'll put that blog in the description so you can have a look at that. So that's one way of your angels and your guides and your higher selves, that will communicate, is via the numbers. And it's crazy just how often you will notice it, and they'll come in different patterns. Now, how this, and I'm burping again, usual, so bear with me. How this applies to you is really just the way it is, like I won't say that one type of number sequence is correct than the other, because this is again such a personal thing. Why I said that is because it will mean very different. I mean, yes, we, me and others that have written these number sequences and what they mean, and that's because it's meant something to me, so I've written all those numbers out, right, and actually explain it there what they mean. But it could very well be that you see other forms of numbers that are not listed. So again, if that's the case, this is up to you and your intuition what you make of it, because at the end of the day, that's your messages, and this the biggest thing that I want to actually make that known for you guys is that whatever messages you get from your guides, they are very, very specific to you. Actually, it's not specific to anybody else. It won't make sense to anybody. And I learned that very quickly, because when I was new to my spiritual awakening and my twin flame journey, I was already getting so many signs and, you know, syncs, you know, from the universe, and the constant communication that I was getting. So I had to learn what they were myself, if that made sense. And that's what I'm trying to tell you guys as well, is to learn to make sense of it yourself, because nobody else can do it. In fact, you know, there's been times when I've actually asked some of the readers that I went to, some of the healers I went to, you know, nobody could give me they all gave me a really, really vague answer. And the answers, even when I asked even the collectives, you know, at that time I was so new into this journey, whoever I came across, I asked, nobody could tell me anything outright what that meant. So this is where I feel that no matter how good of a psychic a person is, or how well known they are with signs and syncs, what you see is going to be completely different. And it will serve a different kind of meaning for you altogether. So that's what it is. So you know, you can take as you may with it. Now, the biggest thing that I always say to people is, you know, especially if you're new, start to document them. And for those that are living with karmics, you know, that are not single, you know, I've heard these excuses that, well, you know, I can't keep a journal because, you know, I'm not single. So again, you know, that's up to you how you do your logs. You know, you can put a passcode in your cell phone and keep an electronic log that way, you know, because you're gonna see lots of pictures and a lot of signs that will come forward. And a lot of times what I normally do is I always find that I'm always, you know, if it's something new especially, I'll take a picture of it and then I'll look it up. So that's what I do. I look it up again, you know, like intuitively, and then I try to figure out what the messages are. So you can keep an electronic log on that. There's so many apps that the new phones have, you know, whether it's an Android or it's Apple, doesn't matter. You know, they all have some sort of note section there. You can log it there, right? You can keep a journal. I think you can even download an app that would have, you know, that allows you to journal as well. However way, you know, I don't know. Like, that's up to you. It again, you know, this is all self-work, right? You know, nobody can do this for you. You know, I can't certainly log stuff for you. It's only you that can, right? So, you know, make a point of doing that, because a lot of times what ends up happening is, you know, you may get some sort of message or insight, and sure enough, what will end up happening is, you know, it won't make sense to you at that time, but later on it unfolds, and I'll actually explain that in a little bit later here in the video, what specifically I'm talking about. So that's one way of you know, documenting. And you can, if you're a good drawer, then you can even draw the signs and symbols, you know, whatever have you. Take pictures, you know, have it printed, and then you can just stick it in your journal, you know, whichever way. You know, your creation is all you, right? You know, you figure that out how you want to do this. But, you know, they will continue giving you signs and things, and I don't think it ever stops, because that's just, you know, if they started to figure out your guides and your higher self, or, you know, when you're ready to receive it and when you're ready to know it is when they actually present it. So that's another thing I want to add. It doesn't work that way. There's no such thing that, you know, you're getting signs and things and you cannot figure it out. You can, you just haven't tried hard enough to figure it out. That's up to you how you know, motivated you are to do that, right? That's, you know, motivation comes from within you. Nobody else can give that to you, right? So you know, keep that at the back of your mind as well. Now, another way that messages come is through dreams. Some of them are very specific, some of them are not. My dreams are never specific, but these days I'm getting very, very specific dreams, and the only person that can make sense of it is actually me. You know, nobody else can. So I'm not even relying on my friends or, you know, anybody else to decipher my dreams, because, you know, it, again, you know, when you're dreaming, you are also going through certain emotions, and you know, sometimes it's unclear. You know, that's fine. It's not, you know, your dreams are not going to be clear sometimes. Even your signs and things won't be clear. But, you know, when you log it or you remember it, however way, you know, if you've got a splendid memory, good for you. You know, you can store that all in your mind. Go for it. I'm not going to say that that's right or wrong. That's up to you. But if you don't, then write them down and figure it out, right? So, but yeah, you know, your communication will come through dreams as well. So, you know, you figure that out, what this means. And I often find that people are always asking about, you know, dream meanings. There's no such thing. You know, there's books on there as well, you know, on dreams and what it means. But I think it's such an individual communication from your higher spirits that, you know, that comes forward in dreams. So really, that is up to you. You know what, this cat wants to come all the time. It's hilarious. This is the second time she's come. Well, you can sit here, Siba. Come on, sit. Come, sit. I know. Sit here. Sit here. Sit on the table. I know. It's bad for you. Okay. Sit here. Sit. Sorry, she's getting restless, so say hi here. Say hi. So anyways, yeah, you have to figure that part out and what this means, and, you know, in your spiritual situation. That's why I say that keep a journal, keep a record of it, because it's gonna not make sense. The reason why I say that is, in my journey, I've seen this many times where something didn't make sense to me at that time. Even I want to say even last week, I never dreamt of my twin flame, and last month I actually dreamt of him, and I wasn't sure quite how to take the dream, because it was very, you know, it was a little unvague, you know. Usually is, right? Because you can't really figure it out. And I sat with the information that was given to me, and about 2-3 more of those dreams actually clarified what the dreams were all about. So you know, it was sort of like a continuum of that one, and, you know, I figured out the meaning behind that, right? And so yeah, you know, it again, you know, I did talk about it to my, you know, to my cousins, and, you know, to my friend, and it was very personal, so I didn't really share it with the collectives. But of course they couldn't figure out for me, and I didn't think that they could. They only just listened. And when the other 2-3 dreams followed, it made sense to me what was being conveyed. So yeah, I sometimes, you know, that's what it is. You just need to sit with it for a little bit. You know, don't go in a panic and disarray with that information, because, you know, you'll find that you know, you're just gonna get more upset, or, you know, you'll go frantic, right? You know, so just stay calm, breathe, and, you know, just journal it. I don't care how you journal it, just journal it, because that's what I'm trying to tell you here. That's what you should be doing, right? So another one that I want to say is that came into light was in 2018. I had gotten a what was that, a medium reading, because you know, it's now mediums, for those that have actually got a proper medium reading, now that's a psychic gift. You know, it's amazing just what tends to come through for those that are talented, that can actually give you really decent you know, readings. And I remember in 2018 I was already, you know, going through the awakening and all that. I already knew my twin flame was around. I already knew that he was my twin flame. But I also really felt like my dad on the other side was making communication with me, because, you know, I knew that he was sort of my guide at that point. I figured it all out, right? So, but I also knew that he wanted to, you know, come forward. So in that reading, my dad, of course, came through, and it was very emotional to get that. But what surprised me was my grandma, my mom's mom, also showed up. So it was just it was crazy that she showed up. So you know, and I didn't figure that out for the longest time, that it was her, till, because, you know, the reading was very general. And I got the typed out version of it, so, which was good, because then it was electronic. You know, I kept it as a electronic log for me, right? Just recently I was talking to my sister, and I confirmed this with my cousin. She and my cousin and I, we have the same grandma, and both of our moms are sisters, so this is how we are related. So she, you know, it's kind of funny, because my younger sister said, "Oh yeah, you know, grandma had two roses, you know, tattooed in her. I guess it was kind of around here. I don't remember it, you know." And that's something that I you know, I mean, I grew up with my grandma, but it was something that I didn't remember, but my younger sister remembered it. So I asked my cousin, and she said, "Yeah, you know, she did have that, you know, tattoo." And I remember in that reading, you know, there was a rose, two roses that showed that was also mentioned, you know, and that was her validating. I mean, I do have a rose tattoo as well, and I thought at the time when I had gotten the reading, I thought that she was talking about my rose tattoo, but it was actually, she was validating who she was, you know. And then, you know, in that reading also I got unicorns, and unicorns, I didn't think much of it at that time, but it actually played out in my twin flame journey a little bit, in part of my healing, you know, if that makes sense. Because when I had done my inner child healing, you know, it's a continuous thing, but I do think that everybody should get, you know, they should work one-on-one with healers that specialize in inner child healing, because it shows up all the time in your journey. So anyways, when I did the inner child healing, I was advised to create a vision board, my childhood vision board. And I had to talk to my mom, you know, a lot of things I didn't remember, some of them I did. And oddly enough, I guess I even talked to one of my really good friends, that a friend that decided to tell me some of the things that she paid attention to when I used to talk to her as a you know, as my, throughout my friendship, that, you know, I like this, I like that, you know, I liked eating this, I liked eating that. So she kind of helped me put my vision board together. So it just goes to show that sometimes, you know, you don't remember it all at once, but when you talk to your friends, your family, people that have known you long enough, you know, your vision board can come alive, right? So, and I had created a vision board, you know, from the perspective of a 3-year-old, because that's where my healing was targeted. It was at that age when I needed, you know, I needed some guidance and healings, you could want to say. So anyways, I created, you know, life as a 3-year-old and what I liked as a 3-year-old. And, you know, there were a lot of things that, you know, I enjoyed as, you know, eating or whatever. So, and one of the things that my mom specifically said was that I loved raisins, and I didn't think much of it. I guess growing up, I did like raisins in my food, you know, if, you know, especially Indian sweets, you know, they carry raisins, you know, so I like them. And, you know, it was weird because after it was known to me, I was filling up my jar, you know, of raisins, and I couldn't stop eating them. It's like all the memory just, you know, subconscious memory just comes up, right? So that, you know, but in that inner child vision board that I had done, I had put unicorn stickers in there. And again, you know, 2018, I had the reading. I didn't, you know, think much of it. It went into the back burner, and then I did the vision board last year. and unicorns were in there. And in my shamanic practitioner program, my teacher, sent us on a 1 hour spree, just go look for signs and things. It just goes to show that, a lot of people, even teach that as part of their program. And my teacher was very, very strict. She's like, yeah, I'm going to hold the space for 1 hour and I want you all to go and look for a sign, and so I went around and, into shops and stuff to see what I could find. And in that 1 hour, I found my symbol, and that was a unicorn. So that showed up. And that was I thought about the inner child vision board and the unicorns in there, so that was very, very aligned to my healing and my journey, right? And then just a few months ago, I had a consultation for buckflower, and it showed up there as well. One of their essence that I had chosen, or it was part of my healing, was about me stepping into my higher self, and I believe it was something to do with growing angel wings and stuff like that. That's part of the ascension plan. So the it was kind of funny how that showed up. And then I saw a Orgonite, that one of their gals that I follow, she does those, and she had just created this Orgonite that had a unicorn in it. And so the unicorn, those whatever you call it, those those things that they have. I don't know what they call it, so anyways, so that's what she had, and I thought that was very aligned, and actually ended up purchasing that. So that was related to that. But then what I'm trying to say here is that that rose situation that came, I actually went back to the email to have a look and see if how it was mentioned to me in the reading about the rose. And sure enough, I see the unicorn, and as well as part of the reading. So see how it all did a full circle. So that's what I'm trying to say, that you never know how these signs and symbols can present you in your healing, in your journey. So again, if all this stuff wasn't documented, if it was in my brain, maybe I don't know whether I would have figured it all out as nicely as I did after. But if it helped that I had a log of all of that stuff, and I could go back and have a look. So this is why I say journaling is very powerful. And you never know how these signs and symbols can present this back to you. Like my journey with my unicorn started in August of 2018, and look at this, 2 years later, I've got so many signs and things with this, right? So just goes to show that how nothing is ever random, when it comes to your spiritual journey and your signs and things, because they are meant to come for your higher and greater goods. So that was that. Just want to see what else I wanted to tell here. So I want to just go back to the type of signs that you may actually see. A lot of people see animals, and animals could be your animal spirit guides. So that's one of the ones that you may want to just, especially if you're seeing it repeatedly. And animal spirit guides actually come and go all the time. So that's, I'm going to actually link that article that I wrote on animal spirit guides and how this applies in your situation. So if you're seeing lots of animals, and especially repeatedly on any particular animal, have a look at that. I mean, this is how I figured out my team, was when I was actually constantly seeing, certain animal, that was presenting themselves often enough for me to figure out, okay, these guys are calling for my attention. Let me have a look and see what that is. A lot of times, like people confuse the difference between a power animal and a animal spirit guide. Those are two different things, and I'm going to explain to you how. Because a power animal, there is nobody else that can bring that into your into your reality other than a shaman practitioner. Anybody that is a shaman that knows how to retrieve a power animal will be able to do that. So nobody else can do that because it's actual special training that you receive by somebody that is doing a shaman practitioner program, right? Or somebody that's facilitating that. You know, you can't just imagine. So if somebody is offering that as part of you know, their services or whatnot, you know, you want to actually look at that part, you know, because it's like same thing as like Reiki, for example. You cannot provide Reiki without actually going through a master's program, you know, facilitated by a Reiki master that is attuned. You know, this is not somebody that has just cooked up overnight that they can actually teach Reiki. They were actually attuned. Big difference. And can provide you that, right? You cannot be on level 1 Reiki. The only thing you've learned is a couple of symbols and how to heal yourself. You did not get attuned to actually heal other person or other people. Doesn't work that way. So, you know, you get what you pay for. So that's why I just want to say that, you know, be very careful when you are actually looking for people that are offering some sort of services like this, because, you know, you want to know their background as well. So yeah, a power animal is retrieved by a shaman practitioner, and how that works is they actually embody you. The animal actually embodies you. It could be an ant, it could be as big as an elephant. The effect is the same, whether it's actually an elephant as big as that, or it could be as little as an ant, because, you know, you are actually embodying their essence, their spirit essence, and your body goes through 1 week of hell, you know, at least few days. Some people, depending on how, you know, how extensive their healing was, I've noticed, you know, some have, you know, dealt with this for, you know, a week. Some dealt with it for, you know, few days, and yeah, it's like, it's not easy. So I just want to say that, and that's my cat. I'm gonna pause because she's, like I said, I knew she was restless, and she's gonna continue doing this, you know, howling. So I'll try to let her in the garage while I finish this video. I don't have much left here, so I want to just finish it. I'm gonna take a pause break. Okay, so I'm back here. Hopefully she's gonna stay quiet now while I film this and finish the recording. So yeah, it could very well be that you know, you're feeling the wrath of it for at least few days, right? Because that's what it is. You're actually embodying their animal essence as well as their spirit into your body. So I remember when I had gotten, you know, like my shamanic healing, that's when it actually happened, and I didn't even know that was even a thing till I actually looked it up, because I had to actually make sense of it, right, after what that meant. And yeah, I had 2 that embodied me. That was the hummingbird as well as the black panther. So that wasn't that wasn't easy, because yeah, for 1 week, literally, I felt like I was bedridden. I was exhausted. And, you know, it plays on you, right? I've seen, you know, some of my clients go through some really bad situations after the embodiment, but, you know, they pull through it, of course, you know, because they know that something good is happening to them. You know, they're feeling it in their body, because the body is telling them, screaming, but at the same time they feel it, and then afterwards they actually feel much better once, you know, the spirit essence has taken, you know, has found way home properly, right? Imagine, you know, it's almost like, look at it this way. Imagine a house. I have a building in front of me, so that's the only metaphor that I can think of here. Imagine packing an entire house in your body, just like that, right? So that's basically what it is. So you feel the wrath of it, and it's a bumpy ride in the beginning, but usually that's what that means. But animal spirit guides, now they come and go. In different stages of your life, you will find that this animal spirit guide was really prominent, and then once they've served their purpose, they've left, and then another one shows up, and another one shows up. So pay attention to that, and there's lots of information on each animal spirit guide and what they serve. So have a look at that, and just connect with them. And once you figure out that that's who they are, then it becomes fun, because then you start picking up their communication, their messages. And like I said, it's such a individual thing, and you cannot just run to a psychic or a reader and say, hey, help me understand this, because that's the whole point. You're supposed to exercise your own intuition, right? You're supposed to exercise your own inner knowing and your own ability to figure it all out, right? So, and use that. So that's what I'm trying to say. So that would be the animal. So we've talked about numbers, we've talked about dreams, we've talked about animal spirit guides. Now we sort of touched a little bit on the in the clairs, but again, for those that have picked up images, your future, images that seem to be in the future, that could very well be in the future. You will have an idea, or sometimes it could be your past life recollection as well. Again, it's such a individual thing. You won't completely know until you actually continue to heal and grow into your spiritual journey. These things do not bypass your spiritual healing. That's separate. This is just an added tool that your higher selves made sure that you had, so that it helps you get along with your journey, right? But it doesn't replace that. It doesn't replace your inner growth, your inner healing, working one-on-one with healers and figuring out all those kind of things. You have to still dive into your own spiritual soul alchemy. That doesn't replace anything. So for those that are seeing future situations with your twin flame, only you will know whether that is a thing for you, where you will actually be with your twin flame in future or not. That's up to you. But then again, that's all gonna show up at some point in your life when all the other stuff is being looked after as well. It doesn't mean that you're seeing all these visions and this clear knowing that you're gonna be with your twin flame. That doesn't replace you again into not doing your spiritual work. That you need to still continue doing, right? So and this is why some of the teachers are really hammering this on the collectives, that you need to figure out how to heal in a proper sense, not just healing when healing is not about you watching tarot card readings on YouTube. That's not healing. Healing is not you spying on your twin flame and what they're doing on social media or stalking their house or whatever have you. That's not healing, right? And healing is not about you talking out your your signs and things and your spiritual journey with a friend in some sort of closed Facebook group or group community. That's not healing really, unless you are actually going one-on-one with healers that actually specialize in that kind of situation. Again, if you're getting twin flame coaching, or you're getting are you going to a shrink that's talking, where you're actually diving deeper into the layers of your healing and what these things mean, who's trained and licensed, when I'm talking about a psychiatrist, those things. I actually will explain that a little bit in my next article that's coming up. So if you're not doing all that, that's not actually healing, you know. So a lot of these, there's a lot of misconception on healing. So you have to invest, you know, you really have to invest in your time, your energy, your actual energy, and a lot of money, because a lot of these things, you know, healthcare providers do not provide. So so yeah, you have to actually invest, look at it as an investment. And when you're doing that kind of healing, then you're healing. Everything else is just, you know, killing time, and you know, it's not going to serve you any good actually, in the higher, you know, like roadway, right? Because yeah, it's not, you can be in your spiritual alchemy thinking that yeah, you are doing what you're doing when you're actually not. So and you know, you may want to look up what consists of spiritual healing. I have written, you know, part 1 of that blog, so I'll link that as well into this video, so you can have a look and see how much healing is required. And you know, wait for the part 2 that's gonna come in the next maybe week or 2. So it's gonna be my next one that I'm writing. And yeah, you know, teachers will only be able to teach you how much they've healed on and how much they've worked on based on their experiences and their healing and their journey, you know, situations, right? If teachers have not done that, it'll reflect in their teaching as well. So yeah, so look at that as well aspect. Another one I want to talk about is just through photos, and it could be on your social media, it could be you know, magazines and, you know, TV. I know that I know that I've seen them all. Magazines not much, because I don't really leaf through magazines much, but through social media and through TV, it's crazy just how how my messages tend to come. So I find that very, very interesting. And that's why I say that it doesn't matter what stage of your journey you are in, you know, you'll constantly get, you know, bombarded with signs and things, you know, and it's up to you to figure it out. And sometimes, you know, I laugh at the way that I'm being communicated with, because I always pick it up what they're saying, you know, and it's very comical. So yeah, log that too, you know. And it's not only about you looking at visions and hearing voices, then you are spiritually evolved, you know. It could be very well just through these signs and things as well. And if you're picking up messages, that's again part of your messages, and is part of your you know, your future gifts trying to open to you, right? So if that makes sense, because yeah, if you pick them up, and you can test people, you know, you can tell them any kind of signs and things that you've seen, and you know, you've picked up a message with it. I can bet you my money on this 100% that they will not be able to tell you exactly what you thought of it initially. Like, for example, if you saw let's say that you saw a toad, you know, and you picked up some really amazing messages just looking at this toad, you know, like could be a picture, it could be, you know, in a movie, whatever have you, it doesn't matter, right? You picked up some really amazing, you know, messages with it. Now you go and tell this to anybody else, they won't be able to tell you exactly what you perceived it to be. It's never the case. So yeah, so do pay attention to that. I do feel in you know, from my understanding of this whole spiritual situation, your higher self, your guides, your twin flame, they all know your capability. They know that what you are capable of. You know, they, you know, again, you know, your higher self is you in a very higher form, right? You know, so yeah, so all these you know, they, all of them, they know your sort of your capability in all of this. So they know that you can pick up, you know, they will not throw anything down your way that doesn't make sense to you. If that makes, you know, if that's a wake up answer for you, then here it is. You know, they will not throw anything your way that you cannot figure out on your own. 100% guaranteed, I'll tell you that. And if you haven't figured it out, it's because you have a veil around it. So you have to uncover that veil and look really past that and figure it out. And another thing I want to say is that do not second guess what you are seeing or feeling or finding. A lot of times people, what they do is they I find that they're always second guessing what they've seen or they've felt as an answer. And if you're one of those, then you need to cut that out, because you don't want to do that as well. You want to make sure that you are writing the first first stuff that's coming in your mind. Like, for example, in the dream, the first thing that came to my mind was different. And then of course they knew that it was different messages that I was picking up the first time, and I didn't understand it. And then slowly throughout the day, as I went, I started getting other things with it, so that was another way of them ensuring me that my first perception was not that. And then they started giving me additional stuff, and in fact they gave me a few more other dreams, right? So that just goes to show that even if you've doubted or you didn't figure out the message initially, that's okay, because you'll pick that up shortly after, right? Like you'll get additional messages that will go along with what you had seen. So pay attention to that as well. This is why I heavily emphasize on logging these things, because things that may not make sense to you at that time, it will all make a full circle shortly, maybe 3 weeks or a week later, a few days, a year, 2 years, or whatever have you. I've had a lot of things like that. I mean, that unicorn story was just one prime example how that all went into a full circle, in 2 years later. And I don't know what else I have to, what else is going to come, in addition to that with the unicorns, right? I have no idea. But so far, this has been the case. So that's what I'm saying. It could very well be that there's going to be more, more messages to that message. So, and they always are interconnected as well. So you want to pay attention to that. And yeah, numbers are the first way of their way of communication. So, but when you are actually starting to get aligned with your journey, with the universe, the signs and the things, when you know that the whole force is around you, is when you start getting a combination of all these messages. Not just the numbers, because it'll start off with numbers and maybe a little bit of symbols and signs, social media or videos or whatever, TV, but it's gonna get more profound as you keep going, and it's because your clairs are opening, and you are actually seeing a little bit more than what meets the eye, right? If that makes sense. So yeah, because the veil starts to lift, and there's a lot of ascension symptoms as well that opens up all these psychic abilities, because if you're on a spiritual journey, then yeah, you have a tendency of that ascension, right? So I'll link that one as well, because I find that it will, if you're experiencing any of those physical symptoms, then know that yeah, you're starting to now open up slightly, right, into your psychic abilities as well. So that helps as well. But yeah, I mean, this is such a vague topic, and as well as, like, I can't go into so many variations of it, because again, it is what it is. Like, I mean, you'll know, you even will know when your twin flame is even talking to you. And it's a misconception that you are not in communication or in union with your twin flame, because in the sense, in 5D, because yes, they're always there. You're always in union with your twin flame in 5D, right? But a lot of people also have this misconception. They think that, well, he's always talking to me in 5D, and it hasn't shown up in my reality. Well, I'll ask you this question then. What do you think these signs and things are? Are they not your reality, or are you imagining them? Right? So again, lift the veil of your ego and try to understand what's happening, because these signs and things are here, they're here now, and they're in your reality. So if your twin flame is talking to you via signs and sync, that is communication in reality. It's not in your dream space, it's not in 5D. That gateway is already open and messages are flooding into your reality. So that is your reality. That is not you cooking it up in your mind, right? If you're seeing it visually, you're seeing it in your reality. So I just wanted to add that in, because sometimes people confuse those two as well. They think that, well, my twin is always talking to me in 5D, but in real life, they're not doing anything. Well, if that is the case, then you're not seeing any signs and things at all, because that's what it is. Then you can just call it a day and, wrap up your spiritual journey that you think you can wrap up and, move along. Right? Bye-bye, right? It doesn't work that way, because yeah, they do show up in your reality. So and that's the thing that people sometimes, often are mistaken. So try not to think it that way, because and the thing is that, if you're getting signs and sync, don't think that they're not either, right? They are getting the same signs and sync. You just don't know what they are, but they're getting it too. There's no way that you're getting it and they're not, right? That's again your own perception and your own fears and your own ego trying to control the whole situation, or not control it. You just think that it's just you that's going through all of this, and they're not going through any of that. So because in twin flame journey, it's definitely two-way street. It is never one way. It never has been, because that's the way that your higher self and their higher self have designed this, right? So it was meant to be this way. So with that, I hope that you guys got some clarification, signs and things, and try to pay attention more and stop asking outside of yourself what they mean, because you're not going to get the answer. This journey often teaches you how to go within, and your quiet time, your dark night of the soul, your self-reflection is all you. Nobody else can do that for you. Not even your twin flame can do that for you, because in reality, if you tell them, hey, by the way, I saw this side, did you communicate this to me in 5D, they'll be like, huh, what are you talking about? Maybe they will if they are very enlightened. I don't know, but in reality, yeah, they may not even know that that was a sync from them. Sometimes they do, depending. I've even had people that had told me that too. So it depends. If they have, great. If they haven't, oh well. But that doesn't mean that whatever you picked up as your message is not your message. It is definitely your message. So yeah, do not second guess. Do not doubt. Stay on course with your journey, and I hope that you, after looking at this video, bits and pieces, whatever made sense to you, that you're gonna now start to make some sort of log with it. And this was Twin Flame Union in the pep talk and empowerment. What signs and sync mean in your spiritual journey, whether you're a twin flame or you're just hanging out, enjoying the spiritual aspect of this of your life, right? So because everybody, after all, we are spiritual beings that is living a human experience. That is a fact that many have taught in the past, and if you live it this way, you really understand the whole concept behind that. This is Twin Flame Union.